Welcome to A Woman's Brew, where women talk about beer. Today is our Q2 review in our second year of recording our beer goals. I'm Joanne and this is Tori.
Hello.
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us. Halfway through the year already.
It's crazy, isn't it? I feel like every year we talk about that. Yeah. We go, oh, it's like the years
we'll do that really by. British thing. Where has the time gone?
Oh, where's the time gone? I normally will go
halfway through the year already.
I normally go, oh, what a week. And people are like, it's Monday.
It's Monday.
I'm like, yeah, it is.
I had a pretty good Monday, actually, so I can't complain this week.
Yeah, you can't complain. I feel like mine's been chaotic because I'm about to go on holiday. So It's a bit like... But... I can't really complain either because it's all like I can't complain being like it's chaos because I'm about to go on holiday for 2 weeks.
Yeah, right. Right. How do you feel you're doing with your beer
I think
goals?
I'm doing really good in some areas and like really not good in others. So I think there's definite things that I've improved on this year, things that have had zero change, and then things that I'm actually doing worse compared to where I normally do. But then also with the Drink Harder challenge, which we'll go through, I feel like I've actually put it on hard mode, and I'll explain why when we get to the things that we've put on hard mode, that I've put on hard mode. Oh, can I just take this opportunity as well at the top of it to say I made us stickers.
You have made us stickers. Yeah, I think you put that on hard mode as well.
Well, I'm still fucking struggling with it. I fought with this thing till like super late last night.
So that listeners know, Tori brought a Cricut machine so she could make her own stickers. I have one. I've had one for quite a few years now. So I kind of know how it works. I know how to make the things that I want to make. But she talked to me about it and I was like, I mean, you can. I was like, but there's a steep learning curve in how to use it. And she was like, yeah, cool, I'm going to do it. And then I had to call her last night and talk her through how to work it.
Yeah, because it's not intuitive.
It's not. That's
like
what I
you had said, you were like, it's not intuitive. The app is actually really hard. And I was like, no, I'm sure it's fine. And like, I was like, I'll figure it out.
I ain't no liar, girl.
I thought we're in an age where I just watch a YouTube step by step, or I got ChatGPT to tell me step by steps, but like it gets to a point in the directions where it's basically just like, no, computer says no, you can't do that.
Girl, you tell me that you can't use Uber because you're a boomer. What
yeah,
made
but that's
you think
different.
That you were going to be able to work a Cricut machine?
Because I'm actually really good with like normal tech. What I'm not good at is like I use like Uber Eats and delivery and stuff, but when it comes to like Uber driving out, I'm like, oh, it's, you know why? It's because one time I got Uber Eats at the office and it was on my account and I was like, great, like putting it here, did the pin, was like, this is where we are. And it ended up like the pin jumped and ended up moving somewhere completely different. And like, I know for a fact because somebody watched me do it. Like they watched me put the address in and then adjust the pin so it was like in the accurate spot for our building. I verified it and everything. And then somehow it ended up, the pin just jumped, moved somewhere completely different. And I was like, oh, I hated that. And then ever since then, anytime we do like, I only do like Uber Eats and delivery when I'm away for work, and any other time at the office, I'm like, someone else has to do it because it doesn't like me and it stresses me out. And I think because of that, I'm like, I've seen like Ubers cancel on people, or it's like really like they're like, I'm down the road and around the corner, and you're like, why are you there? Like, and I hear so many bad things about Uber that I'm like, I don't even want to do it.
I had one this weekend that parked in the middle of a massive puddle outside the gates of an industrial estate I was in, like rather
that's
the
painful
building. And I was like,
actually painful.
I'd moved the pin to exactly where I was, like, and like gathering my colleagues so that we can go, because it was raining and we were quite far away from where we were going to be. So I was like, come on, it's here, come on. And I was just like, didn't even have his lights on, like in the dark at like midnight, no lights on, just sat outside the gate of this industrial estate. And I'm like, I guess that's our Uber. Let's go see.
Like,
and then he
maybe.
and it just kind of pulled in and then was in this massive puddle, and I was like, cool, I'll just like wade to you then in the spot that isn't
Wade
even
out.
where I put you. But I'm also far too nice to like give him a crap review, so he only got a pound tip rather than
Yeah, but they can also review you back.
Right,
so it's that thing of
exactly.
you're like, oh, I've got to be like, even if they're
Right.
unreasonable, you got to be kind of nice because they
Yeah.
can equally review you back. And like, we have literally gotten less than 5 stars for genuinely no reason. Like, we were in Turkey and we got like a really low star review, and we were like, I
What
don't
did we
even know
do?
what's happening. Like, we're like, we literally didn't do anything. We got in the cab. We sat in the cab. This guy was actually a crazy driver. The only thing I can think of is one time he basically slammed on the brakes and Rick went, oof. All I could think of was he was insulted because he almost slammed into the back of another car, and Rick instinctively went,
made a noise. Yeah.
And even then we still gave him a decent review because we were like, we got where we needed to go, it's fine. And then Rick was like, how did I get a low rating? He's like, I literally just sat there. We weren't, it's like, we're not even talking about like, we weren't drunk, we weren't we were on the way to a wedding, no alcohol in system, so it's not even like we were rowdy. We were just living our life. We weren't even talking to him. We weren't even trying to make conversation.
I had one who thought that I was going to climb a barrier onto a dual carriageway to get into his car. I was like, no, sir. Like, so we were
That's mental.
Gordon and I were staying at like a guest house in Twickenham.
Yeah.
And I'd put in the address, and it was in a cul-de-sac. And then like the other side of the cul-de-sac was a dual carriageway with a barrier so that you don't walk into the dual carriageway.
Yeah,
and this
casually.
dude, rather than coming round to where the address was, pulled up on the dual carriageway, and I'm like, what do you want me to do? You want me to climb over this barrier that's supposed to stop people from going on the dual carriageway to get into this car? Like, are you mad? And then so he drove, and it was a long stretch, like 2 blocks down. He could finally turn into a road, and then he pulled into there. So we walked along to meet with him, and then he got annoyed because we were taking our time, and I'm like, mate, you came to the wrong address.
That is insane. And then you wonder why I'm like, I'm a boomer and I won't use it. Maybe it's because I'm not a boomer. Maybe it's just because I'm like, I don't want to use it.
App, because I've had excellent drivers. It's people. Like, you
but that's why, like, when it comes to like a cricket machine, I'm like, I don't have to interact with people. So like, this should be great.
No, you have to interact with the robot, which is different.
I would fucking hands down rather interact with a robot every single time. Like, literally, I'm not worried about AI taking it. I mean, I thank you thank you AI overlords. I welcome you with open arms personally. But I'm not too worried because they can't even get fingers right on art. So like, when that's the day that I'll be really worried is when they're like, when you do AI art and they manage to get 5 digits on a hand and it's like normal, it looks like it's holding it normal and not like backwards or something like that. But like, I'd prefer that. I so much prefer working with technology. Like, I'm actually genuinely good at technology and figuring stuff out. But back to the cricket. Oh my God. I was literally like, none of this makes sense. It doesn't work. Like, I played around a bit and I got up to a certain point as you were explaining it to me. And then it hit a point that I was like, now I don't know what to do. Like, now I was like, and now what? I was very confused. I got to like the upload image. And then I was like, cool, I know how to get the image onto the background. But now what? I'm very confused. And everything is like freemium, where it's like you have to pay for every little upgrade. So I've just done the trial for 30 days because I'm trying to do like a particular style of cutting. I've spent an hour of my life at least trying to work out how to do this. It comes out wrong every time. And I'm like, the stickers are fine, they're usable, but the thing I was trying to do to make it easy to peel off, nah, not happening. And I think because they're matted, it doesn't look as professional as if they were glossy.
Yeah.
So I've ordered some gloss paper, we'll see, but I don't know. I find that now that I know how to do the stickers, it's actually quite easy. It's pretty quick, to be fair. I can just do it in the background while I'm doing other things. Yeah. It's not too bad.
You just got to learn how to do it. You got to work out.
You just have to get the first part, which is how the hell do I make a sticker?
I did say to Tori, I was like, be prepared to mess it up several times before you get to the right one. Like, you've always got to be.
To be fair to me, So I messed up the first one. So like, this is really stupid. I messed up the first one because I put the printer paper in the wrong. So I did a normal like printer paper thing. And I just replaced the ink cartridge. So I think it was already a bit like saturated in the first one. Then the second one I did with actual printer paper because I was like, you know what though, overall it came out fine. Let's give it a go on the sticker paper. Dickhead didn't check which side was up and down. Like I checked which side was up and down, but it was a little bit difficult. I didn't take into consideration how I needed to load it into the printer.
Yeah.
So I loaded it the wrong way, thinking I needed to load it the other way, which then screwed up the whole mat that I had because everything got stuck to the mat. And I was like, great, so that's cool. But going forward, and then it was all blurry, and I was like, I don't understand why the ink is still smudging.
Yeah.
Did a test print, it was all fine. And then dickhead number 2 realized I hadn't changed the mode to say like photo paper. I was still having it like it was normal printer paper, so it was almost like not saturating the right way. Once I figured out that, smooth sailing, not a problem. So I would say by sticker 4, it was like by batch 4, and I would say
good.
actual sticker paper 3. Because the first one was proper paper.
Yeah.
And even then, I think I only lost 1 batch of stickers properly. And that was the ones where we removed the background, and so it cut out every single thing, including the lettering, the QR code.
Yeah, I hadn't realised that you hadn't coloured in the circle. So it removed everything.
No, the circle was coloured in, and then I asked you, can you remove that? And you were like, yeah. And I thought removing that would just basically make it with nothing printed on that. But no, well, I thought that did the cutting.
Yeah. No, but it was because because the circle wasn't filled in. So when I removed the background, it removed everything. The circle, I then filled in the circle, and then it was fine.
Yeah, no, I think you definitely removed the inside of it because I asked you to. Because I have an original one where it's there and it's fine, but the background wasn't there. It was a whole pull-off, but it got there in the end. But that was the hardest one. And then after that, I was like,
it was fun.
No more risks.
Anyway, we've been talking for like 12 minutes and we haven't actually said what beers we're on because we are a beer podcast. So we should probably talk about what we're drinking for our
I was advertising our stickers. Thank you very much.
Yeah. What are you drinking? Making our stickers. I have got elderflower and linden sour from 360 Degrees because I need a beer that starts with E.
Okay.
For our challenge. So that's what I've started with.
Cool. I have Ovata Brasseries Pyrope Porter. You brought that back like quite a while ago now.
In France, yeah.
And it was just kind of sat there not being drank because every time I put it in the fridge to have it, things changed and I was like, oh, I'll have something else, or like I was having something before having the porter. So I just decided there's no time like the present, so I'm just gonna have it now. That's kind of all the rhyme and reason behind it. That's that.
It's a fair reason.
Should we talk about personal goals before we start talking about overall drink harder challenge stuff and beyond?
Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. So, my beer goals, she says, getting her notes ready.
I was going to say, the question is, how do you think you've done overall before you tell us?
I think I've done okay. So, my goals were to do a beer blog once a month, try more beer styles, and to do a bit of stash management with Beer Tarot and pairing beer with things. So last quarter, I did 82 styles in total. I'd written 8 blogs, which was pretty good. So I'd actually decided I'd upped it and tried to do 24 blogs in 2024. And then I had been doing Beer Tower every week, and then I'd managed to get my stash down, which I was quite pleased with. I've done a little review, and for quarter 2, I have now in total tried 125 styles.
Nice.
I'm pretty impressed with that. I tried 23 in April, which I think was really good going. I think I was specifically looking for things in April, so I had a whole bunch then. But in May, I only tried 7 new styles, and in total in May I only drank 10 beers because I had those 2 weeks.
That sounds like my February.
Yeah, May was very, very quiet for me because I wasn't very well. And then in June, granted, as we're recording this, and we're not fully at the end of June, so this number will go up. But at the moment, I've tried 13 styles in June.
Nice.
I've had a good quarter for beers, and I couldn't quite pick what my favourite ones were. So I've given myself the whole list of what I've tried as new beer styles. Alaskan Amber is in there because it was an alt beer. I've got 5 Points Gold, which I didn't realise I hadn't drunk before.
Oh.
But that came up as a British blonde ale. Do you remember we had Beet de Garde from McColl's? It was the beetroot beer de Garde.
Yeah.
Had that the other day. The 2024 version is out.
Oh, nice.
Can confirm it was delightful. I've had some weird ones, like I had a Sati from Bang the Elephant. Now, I've only ever had one Sati before, which is a Scandinavian raw ale, which means they don't boil it. And the only Sati I've ever had is the Sati from Bang the Elephant.
Fair.
So I've had it again, so I can tick it off this time. But yeah, it's a very interesting style. I hadn't ticked off a fruited beer, and I had Pink Moon from Liquid Light while I was in Nottingham recently.
Solid. Pink
Moon is such a good beer. I've not had it in a while. I can confirm it is still excellent, everyone. Drink Pink Moon. It is a great beer. I had a honey beer from Black Iris and Holy Goat.
Oh, delish. That sounds beautiful.
Yeah, I got you one of those, so you'll enjoy that.
Oh, you know how I feel about that in general.
I had a triple IPA. Your girl doesn't drink many triple IPAs.
Fun.
So I managed to tick that off at a beer festival. I had a Dark Creek, which just counts as a regular creek. But
it just counts as a normal
It just
creek.
counts as a regular creek, but I enjoyed that it was a dark creek from Origins Brewery, which is the barrel aging program from Fine Ales. And I found a light mild while I was at Fine Fest.
Ooh.
Light milds are difficult to find. So when I saw that, I had to have that, and that was from Fell Brewery. So yeah, I've had to mention. Oh, and I had an oyster stout from Umbard.
I haven't had mine yet. I was gonna have it tonight, and then I was like, I'm gonna hold off on it because I was just
when you've had it, I'm going to be interested to see what you think about it.
Maybe I'll have it in the next episode that we record, just to.
I don't want to taint your thoughts.
No. Yeah, I don't want. I mean, I already saw what you wrote about, but still, I'm just gonna pretend I didn't.
Yeah, pretend you didn't see that. So I have written in total now 11 blogs.
Nice.
But I was thinking about this, and I said to you previously, I want to kind of change up. I've had a review because we're at the midpoint of the year, so it's a good time to review.
It's the best time to review.
Your goals are
you don't have to continue as you've started. You can change it up.
Can you carry on? Like, how can you change? So I'm finding, like, I was doing okay at first with the blog post, but now that we're getting into like festival season and things like that, and that's where I end up doing lots of work away from home. I'm finding it difficult to find the time to write blog posts. And also, I don't really know if anybody's reading them.
No more. I want to hear no more judgment on me. This is the exact reason. At least I've started. I just don't finish.
Right. I totally understand. And because I want them to be like.
You want them to be good.
I want them to be good. And I feel like I just haven't got the time to put into that.
And I will say they are good, but it is that situation. Like, I know for me, I'll write something and then I'll be like, cool, I like this, but I need to go back and do like a second read through and a third read through. And depending on what I'm talking about, I'm like, I feel like I need to really double, triple, quadruple check my facts. I think we've talked about this before. It's like we maybe have that imposter syndrome where we have to feel like we are 100% correct in everything we're saying, and that we've thought about all angles of how someone can challenge what it is we're saying. Even when it's an opinion piece, it's like it's an opinion piece, but you still have to be like, okay, now when somebody challenges this in this way, how do I make sure that it's either not alienating them, but also getting the point across in a way that doesn't agree with them, but that won't cause an argument. It's like a whole
It's
palaver.
the whole thing. And then you've got to write it, you've got to check it. I've got to upload it to the website. You've got to add pictures in. You've got, you want to make sure that your links are working. And then, I need to do a post to share it on social media so people know that it's there. And basically, whenever I go and look at my website analytics, my blog posts that are doing the best are my one about how to open a wax seal beer bottle. Fair, because that's super useful.
It actually is.
And then it fluctuates between what are the main types of beer, what are the ingredients in beer, and Czech Pilsner. People want to know about Czech Pilsner and they like my blog post about it.
Czech Pilsners are great.
So. When I do a newer post, like they barely get a look in. So if you've read my blog posts, thank you very much. Like I'll continue to add things when I feel like it's right, but I want to change that goal. And rather than doing blog posts, I want to add pages to my beer journal. So I've started a beer journal.
Well, because to be fair, that's easier to do when you're away from home as well.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You can do that away from home without having to sit down and focus. Yeah. Like, it's focusing, but it's a different type of focusing.
Yeah, so I've started it. You may have seen it on my Instagram, people, if you follow. And I'm kind of adding in like things like I've added in the brewing process. If you're watching the video,
I love that. Your art is so good.
Like I did a little sketch of the brewing process and how you do it.
You know what we could do? We can make stickers with your drawings.
Well, see, this is the thing. I could do more drawings. Like I've left out sections. So I want to do a section on tasting techniques, and I want to do hop vocabulary, I want to do malt vocabulary, yeast vocabulary and other vocabulary, and then I've done a beer of the year spread.
Oh shit.
And it's a bracket, so I haven't started filling it in yet, but so January, February will go against each other, and then I'll pick the right one, and it'll gradually go down to the winner of 2024.
I like that. I kind of started doing that
fun, right?
Literally this quarter to be like, okay, what are my favourites of the quarter and what's the most interesting stuff of the quarter? But I realised that I wanted to do that too late. So I feel like every year that we do this, I find a way to kind of build out what I'm doing and get even more nerdy with it. Right? And it's, it's just for me, but it's fun to look back and talk to you about on it. Yeah. And that's something that I feel like next year would be really fun to try to do something like that. But it's just because I didn't think to do it until it was too late to go back and start.
Yeah. So this year I have been like keeping a list of like my top 5 beers of each month. So I can pull from that for my beer of the year. That's fine. I've been tracking that in my other journal. But then I also did a spread for my beer goals 24, and I left that section. Did 4 sections under each goal, so I could fill in what I'm doing each quarter once we've done this episode. And then I've done pages for my Drink Harder challenge, and I'm adding in pictures of what I've done, or I've left space. So like when it's 5 beers with 5 hops, I've left spaces for the beers that have got those hops in, and things like that. So I've done that instead, which I added this onto my Instagram, and people really loved it. So I was like, I feel like that's the way I can communicate beer stuff instead. So I'm going to change it up.
Blogs are only fun while you have fun doing it. At some point, if it stops being
fun anymore, I was like, I want to do my journal instead. And then I'm going to do that. So I would like to, although I've only done 4 so far, so this might be a challenge for the rest of the year, but I've got 6 months. I want to see if I can do 24 pages, or 24 spreads in my beer journal by the end of 24. That's my new goal.
24 for 24. I like that. I think you'll do it, because you spend a lot. Because the thing is, you can spend one day and do quite a lot of pages in a journal, whereas like with a blog post, you could spend hours and be like, cool, I've got the basic structure done, and now I need to go and fine tune it, and it's just a lot more. Because other people are going to see it, and it's effectively written for other people to enjoy. Yeah. It's not necessarily just for you. Yeah. Or else it would be a journal, not a blog, if it was just for you. You kind of put more effort into that. Or it's not that you don't put a lot of effort into the journal, but it's different because it's only for you. You're not doing that for someone to look at anytime, whenever they want to.
I mean, I'm still going to photograph it and put it on the Instagram.
Yeah, but you're not like, cool, let me make sure this is published
No,
in this way. You can go back and
I want.
change it if you wanted to. I mean, you could do that with a blog, but yeah, it is just different. I think different time commitment.
Yeah,
I think you'll do it.
so I'm going to do that instead. That's my new goal. But then I was also managing my stash. I feel like my stash is like at a really good level at the moment. Like I've still got a lot of beer, don't get me wrong, but I think I've done a really good job of like not gathering too many more beers and clearing through some things that I had. So I'm happy with my stash management. I had been doing the beer and taro, but again, it's another one. Like it was that chunk in May where I wasn't very well. Like I just kind of didn't have, and I've not been able to catch up on things since then. So I haven't done very many, but I have been posting beer and book pairings, which is similar. So I have continued my beer and something pairing journey so far. So I think I've done all right with my pairings, with my goals. I'm feeling okay about that.
I think it sounds like you're doing well.
Yeah.
My stash management is not great. Like I had a while where it was going down, it was going in the right direction, and then it started going back up in the opposite direction. Just because it was like going out and about and visiting places, and it's like all it takes is going someplace and leaving with like a handful, or you're traveling and you're getting a bunch of beers, and you come back and you're like, here's a bunch of beers.
I have got you a pile here.
I've got some for you as well, but like it is that thing of I'm like. I think my biggest problem, which will probably have to be a thing for next year, is like don't accumulate so many stouts. Or to be fair, what I've actually done is for stuff that I feel like could be aged, I've put them in the understairs cupboard, which is always quite cold, and I put it in a box away because I know I'm not just going to pull it out unless it's for a special occasion. Whereas like my other cupboard with all the stouts in it, that's just like I need to drink through it. Like I had pumpkin beers that I bought 2 years ago. Ooh. And I was like, oh, I'll age it. Like it was meant to be like it wasn't a milk stout or anything, but it's something that's like, oh, it's barrel aged imperial stout, so that'll keep for a bit. We were gonna have like a pumpkin episode last year. That didn't happen. I thought I'll drink it around the time that I have that. Never happened because I ended up in Japan for Halloween. So like normally that's around the time that I drink all these pumpkin beers. Didn't happen, so it just sat there. And I feel like that's what happens with a lot of these beers. I buy them for a particular thing and then they just I need to work through my stouts, I think, more than anything else, which is hence why I was like, I'm gonna have a porter to try to get through my darker beers.
We've talked about this before as well, but I've still got a bundle of like sharing bottles that I haven't been able to share with anyone.
That's a lot of them as well. Or like even the ones that aren't sharing bottles, that are smaller bottles. They're ones that are really special and important. And I'm like, I don't share with somebody. I don't just want to have it on my own. And normally like Rick won't be in the mood to have it when I am. So I'm a bit like, and I feel like I've not sat still long enough to have time at home to be like, cool, let's now enjoy this. We're always out and about, which is a blessing and a curse. But yeah, I feel like I could do way better on my stash management. In terms of like, so you didn't do the beers to buy and try this year?
No, because I couldn't decide what ones I wanted to do. So that's why I'm doing the beer styles instead. So yeah, we're on 125 beer styles tried. I want to get to 170 this year. I think we have to start being more targeted, you know. And I did also say that I wanted to try more cider styles, but trying to find out cider styles is really difficult.
Oh, I feel like I missed every opportunity when there was like cider stalls and stuff in front of me at festivals and stuff. I'm like, I'm definitely going to go and try that, but then I get pulled into other things, like in terms of beer, that I'm like, oh, but that sounds amazing. So then I just don't end up with it. But yeah, I think so. I did do the beers to buy and try for 2024, and the problem I had is I'm not doing very well at it, and I think next year I probably won't do that because I've started separately as I'm going through and creating these lists. Like I won't talk through all of them now, I'll talk through them later, but I've gone through and I've been like, oh, how many different countries? Like I was inspired by when we did the fruit, and it was like, how many different fruits, which we'll talk through when we get to the Drink Harder challenge. But that inspired me to start kind of itemizing, like, okay, when it comes to countries, how many different countries have I tried stuff from? And then like for the United States, like how many different states have I managed to get beers from? In terms of the breweries, not in terms of me physically being there. And then I've tracked stuff like different food and drink emulations of like beer, and I've then also started tracking breweries that were new to me, that I had either bought or tried that I'd never heard of before this year. So there's some breweries that I only just heard when I got the beer from you, for example. Like I'd say Culmination, but like that's not on my list, for example, because you gave it to me last year. So I'd already known about it going into this year. So I kind of didn't want to like count that. It needed to be something that like, as I got it this year, I didn't know who they were. So yeah, I've got that as well. So I kind of feel like that's almost more effective, tracking who is new to me.
Yeah.
And going out of my way to try people that are new to me, as opposed to just picking an arbitrary top 10. Not an arbitrary top 10, but just picking a top 10 that some of them might be really quite difficult. So, for example, I've only managed to tick off 3 of my 10. So my 10 was All Day Brewing, which was a rollover from last year. Cromarty, which was a rollover from last year. I had Sacred and Profane, but then I also said if I had done that at the end of the year, which I did, the new target would be the Colonel, just to drink more from the Colonel, because obviously, famously, we've talked about how we never gravitate to them because they're labels. Almost had one tonight, but the beer I'm about to have after this didn't really want to do a 9% and then what I'm about to drink. Jump Ship Brewing. I put Grape Ales in general. I had Indian Brewery, Tap Social Movement, Sunken Nave, and a Trappist Brewery that I had not had before. And then number 10 was Bayonet Brewing, who are the winner of the Beer Fridge podcast, because I'd never actually had any beer from them. I only managed to do Sacred Profane / the Colonel, Grape Ales, and Trappist breweries. Like that was basically it. All the rest, because I had Tap Social, but it was a collaboration with Elusive, and I've had Sunken Nave, but it's a collaboration with Elusive. And I think the struggle that I have is a lot of these places you have to put in order specifically with them. And that is a challenge, because that then if I'm trying to keep my stash down, I then need to order enough to make it worthwhile. And then that's another 6 beers plus that I have in my stash, which is just not ideal. And then you've got like Sunken Nave, for example. I don't even know if you can order them. Like I don't know if they've got enough out there that you can actually order at the moment. So it just became really challenging, I think, in that regard. So I think next year I just won't do it like this. I think this was a great idea when we started trying to see all these new breweries that were starting up and trying the new breweries, but now we've got such big stashes that it's like, I just can't keep up. And we're going out more, whereas like with COVID, we were at home. So it
just changes, doesn't it?
Our habits have changed, and so must how we do our goals. So yeah, I've not done great with that. My first actual personal goal was seeing each other once a month. It started out really well. We did January, February, March, and then we were meant to see each other in basically in May, and then that didn't happen. So that was not great. So, and after that, it's just been like, nope, just keep missing each other. So I'm going to chalk this up to...
We might see each other in July.
Yeah, for like a drop-off.
Well, I drop you beers.
I mean, it still counts, but I guarantee that probably I won't hit averaging once a month, because that's a lot. Because we'd have to see each other multiple times in 1 month, which with your travel and my schedule, it's just probably won't happen.
We're not going to do that. I think we failed at that one already.
Yeah, but I'll still track it anyways. Organise / host my own bottle share. I really haven't got around to that. I think I've tried, but I've not put in a massive amount of effort comparatively, just because it takes a lot of work to try to organise, see who's interested and everything else. Probably maybe when I get back from the US, I'll try, just because I'll have more time where things aren't on my mind. Number 3, which take a holiday to a beer specific destination / travel outside the UK specific for beer. Obviously I went to Belgium, and I will be going in a week's time. Like, yes, I had to go back to the US anyways, but the places that we picked to go before seeing my family are very much beer specific destinations. So I think I've ticked that already. And then similarly, I put beer crawl through a city I've not been to yet. So I think I put down for the holiday one before that. Belgium was listed for that because number 4, I'd been to Belgium before. So number 4 was I'm going to Burlington, Vermont. So that's the place that I specifically picked for beer related purposes. So yeah, that is my personal goals. So shall we go?
I did also think about seeing if I could try 24 beer styles that I've never tried before.
Well, I think that's the thing is, that's something that I did. So after the Untapped beer style tracking that you had done,
Yeah.
after the last quarterly review, I was like, you know what? All right, send me the spreadsheet, I'll do it. And I started doing it because I was far enough in. It was early enough in the year that I could make up the difference. So in total, I've got 97 ticked off.
Cool.
22 in January, 3 in February, which I guess that was just a slow month for different styles. 19 in March, 11 in April, 32 in May, and 9 so far in June.
Maybe
So
a good month for you.
Yeah, it was. I think what I find I think the difference is you are going into it a lot of times looking for specific things that you haven't ticked off. I just go, what sounds like the most interesting thing to me, not necessarily style wise.
Well, I've been specific because I'm doing this. I'm specifically looking for these interesting things. So far, it looks like I've tried 2 styles that I've never tried before.
I did note this down actually, funnily enough. I had tried, so 97 styles that I hadn't had it. So 173 remaining. I had a corn beer. So ones that I'd never had before was a corn beer, a historical beer, which was a Coit, and a Koji Ginjo, and
did you bring that back from the US?
No,
from Japan.
No,
or did you try it while you were in Japan?
No, it's not even a Japanese beer.
I've had one. Oh, I wonder what one I had.
Which one was this one?
I've filtered my list to see what I've never had, and
Broaden and Build Optical Prism 2020. I don't know what even that is. What even is that? Denmark. They're a brewery from Denmark, but they're permanently closed.
Oh no!
So
I get that one. Let me see. I've had one apparently in the past. What was it? Oh,
I think I had it at Suds and Soda.
Steel. Trooper Sun and Steel was one because it was infused with sake.
I think this one was one that I just happened to have at Suds and Soda.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get that one again. Anyway, I've had that previously, but I've not had one yet.
Well, the only other one that I hadn't logged before is I had a few different styles of like lambic, which I think for that one, that's a lie. I think it's just I haven't physically logged.
Mead and cider are the ones that I haven't had.
Yeah, but that's also probably because you don't think to log a mead and the cider.
Yeah, I haven't logged them. Like I was thinking, I need to go back and look at what meads we had at Craft Beer Junction, because I definitely didn't check those in. And I wonder if they were different.
We did have, I didn't check in the meads, but we did have
we had 3 different, 3 different meads. I don't know if they were different styles of mead, but they might have been.
I think one was like slightly aged compared to another one or something like that. Because it was variations. One was a variation of the other. I remember that. Yeah. But yeah, so at least I had a few new ones, which was good.
I think it's the mead, the cider, and the historical styles that are difficult to find. Like when I find one of those, I get excited because I'm a nerd.
Yeah, so I had like just like when I see a historical style, like a historical style in general, it's like labeled as historical. I'm like, I want to see it because I just want to. I don't know. I want to try it and go, what is this about? Let's give it a go. But yeah, I think I go into some of this with less intention to find the styles that I haven't had, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just kind of go, I wonder how many I can tick off without actively trying to do that. And I've just passively managed to do 97. And I was like, I'm pleased with that. I'm pleased to have done that without really thinking I've got so many. The worst part is like checking things in and I'm like, oh, another hazy pale. Oh, another New England. Oh, another pale. Another IPA. Okay, because it's just if I go to certain places, that's the majority of what's on the menu. So I'm like, cool, another one I've already had. Or a stout.
I think I've done all the stout styles. Like I don't think there are any more stout styles for me to tick off. Wait, let me check, because maybe there was. I think it might have been like an Imperial White Stout or something. Stouts. Oh, I am missing. Oh, Stout Imperial Double Coffee. I haven't tried yet this
I
year.
think I have had that.
Stout white golden, I've not tried. So there's literally 2 stout styles on the entire stout list, of which there are many. There's only 2 stouts that I have not checked in yet.
I'm curious now have I done that? Yeah, I have done a double coffee. Yeah, because I had S43's pumpkin Lure of the Dark Side, because I was trying to clear out all my old pumpkin beers, and that one was one. So I
must have I reckon I must have an Imperial double coffee in my stash. I must have. Come on, it's me. Must have. I might need you to look for a strong ale American for me while you're in the US.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if I'll find it, but sure, I'll give it a go. Won't. I will give it my best go. Right. I also
second beer. I'm gonna.
No, I put the dregs of this one in.
Oh. So
I'll do
before
my
we
second
move on
one
to drink harder, shall we do our second beer?
Yeah. Well, also while we're doing this, I can say I did create that spreadsheet that I was on about doing.
Yeah. Because you want all the data.
Because I want all the data as a person that works in IT and is an IT nerd, and I've got dudes to teach me how to do. I've got IT dudes, and when I say IT dudes, I don't mean they're like physically just. I use dudes to mean everybody. In that respect, I just want to qualify before somebody comes at me and is like, "It's not just men that work in IT." I'm like, yeah, everyone to me is. I got my dudes. Like just like when we say we're going to do something with the boys, it's a boys with an I, and I am also one of the boys. So yeah, I'm like, teach me how to do data stuff.
I was the IT man for a while.
Yeah, this is always the IT. Where's the IT man?
Where's the IT man? I was like, hello, I'm the IT man, and they'd always go, oh.
Excellent.
Where's your IT man? Hello.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah. Now you feel like an idiot, don't you? Yeah. So stop gendering people's roles. Thanks.
So I decided I wanted to track the stuff and I wanted to put it into like a visual, but I haven't done the visual piece yet because I still need someone to kind of show me certain aspects of what I'm doing, and I'm kind of like trying to work out, is Power BI best, is something else best, whatever. But I could give you the breakdown of like what these different tabs are, just so you know how mental it is. Okay. So I've got a tab that's hop varieties, and then it also so basically everything I track is all tracked based on what is physically on the label. So if it's not on the label, there's nothing I can do about it. So hop varieties, and if it mentions a yeast strain, I just list whatever's there for the yeast strain, just because I'm curious, because I don't see a lot of yeast strains being mentioned.
Yeah.
So far I've managed to have 70, let me just have a look. I think it was 77 different hops. Yeah, 77 different hops, but like some of them I've also put it in like if it's a hop product, so it might be like Spectrum Galaxy versus like normal Galaxy.
Okay.
So just because I was like
different hop, but
no, but I've put like it's a product. I put hop. Cool. I'm not stupid, Joanne. I do know that.
No, I know. But
I wanted to break down, because the way you can visualize data is you can go.
This is. I was about to say this is. I was like, this is your data thing. So.
Yeah, because you can then like drop it in, and you could go, cool, Galaxy, and how many of those were like hop versus like pellet or cone or versus extract versus Spectrum versus like.
That's a lot.
It's not really, because when I'm going to
77. All right, out of your 77 hops, what's been your favourite so far?
Oh, I think it would be Superdelic.
Oh, really?
All the beers that I've had with Superdelic, which is like a newer hop, which I don't see a lot of. I've had 2 beers with Superdelic. They have been fucking awesome. There was a was it either Suspended In or a Santo that Siren did? It was one of the two. I want to say it was Suspended In, and it was like Superdelic one, but maybe it was Santo, Superdelic Santo or something like that. It was so good. But the first one I actually had was at Disruption. My mate that brews over there, he was like, I just wanted to try using Superdelic, so he brewed a beer with it, and it was so good. So I think like that is in terms of like something I hadn't had before this year. So good. So I know what you're going to say. You're going to go, oh, how do you even know all the different ones? I know that one in particular, like it's really interesting as well, because like the Hallertau, like you've got, I didn't even realise this, Hallertau Blanc versus Mittelfrüh.
Oh, Hallertau Blanc's nice.
But these are things that like, this is why I'm tracking it, is because I'm like, oh, how many can I get that I've never actually heard of or had before? And there were some that I like, some of the more interesting ones. So I had.
So you're marking if you've never heard of it as well?
No. I'm just putting like how many I've had, but I know like which ones. So like a Koya, I've never had a Koya before.
Okay, yeah.
But that's it. Like that one was interesting. That was good. There's one just called Bravo, which didn't know that was one. There was, I'm trying to think of like another one that's like, there's just one called Hercules, which I'm like, okay.
Do you remember I showed you that hop field where it was flattened?
Yeah.
That was all Hercules.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's like, trying to think of like some of the other ones, because a lot of the other ones are quite familiar, but like just stuff like that that's popped up that I've gone like, oh, I know Hallertau Mittelfrüh, but I'm like, oh, I've never heard of Blanc. So yeah, and then I had like, you know, I've tracked if it's an experimental hop, because I'm like, that's interesting to know. At the end I can go, how many experimental hops do I have? So yeah, I don't care. People can make fun of me. It's interesting. It's fun to me. If I keep on top of my stash, it means that it actually doesn't take me very long to do it, because I just go through tab by tab. So that's the first tab. And then I've got like, in terms of counting single hop versus double hop versus like single hop versus multi-hop versus hop products versus unspecified, because there's so many people that still don't specify what their hops are, like what their products are in general, what their adjuncts are. Like there's just people, I don't even care about adjuncts, but like hops, they just go includes hops, and you're like, but which ones? So yeah, that does all that stuff. Then I've got specialty brewing techniques, just to see where stuff is specifically called out, like dry hopping, double dry hopping, second, like if they mention that they've done like secondary fermentation in a bottle specifically, and whirlpool and top fermentation and like that kind of stuff. Like anytime that they've used like a buzzword or something for like what they've done as part of their process, I'm like, I want to put it there, because that's interesting, just to be like, oh, this seems to be quite popular. Like I want to see what the trends are for the year. All about them trends. I've got a whole sheet for barrel aging, like how long it's been barrel aged, what it's been barrel aged in.
How many are you finding that don't say that? And it's
so
you?
many.
Yeah.
Or like what I find the most irritating is it would be like, it's left in the barrel for more than 2 years. And you're like, cool. But like, what does that mean? Or they'll be like
2 years, what? Like,
or they'll be like more than 12 months. And you're like, cool, but what does that mean? 13 months? 20 months. Like, this means nothing to me. So yeah, that's really annoying. So I do have just a barrel aged dash unspecified, because I'm like, if you don't say. And then like one of them's like barrel aged in a steel tank. And I'm like, cool. So I've put that on there. Insane. Brilliant. So yeah, that's that. Because again, I think it would just be really interesting to be like, what is this breakdown? And you can do it like bourbon, like barrel aged bourbon dash no comment, or dash rye, and you can kind of see what the makeup of those barrels are.
Yeah.
I've done a whole thing of adjuncts, which is where I'm tracking like the fruit and the vegetables, because I want to see some of the most interesting stuff. What I will say is like, I haven't put in chocolate. Like I didn't do cacao, I didn't do vanilla, like I didn't do normal stuff. I did like what is standout things, and I've got like coffee, and it's like, okay, cool, if it's mentioned a type of coffee, what's the most common type of coffee used? So yeah, I've got that. I've got serving type, whether I've had a keg, cask, bottle, can, growler, crowler. Is it past its best before date? Yes or no? Because I want to know just how many I've really dropped the ball on, just because I like to flog myself, you know. Brilliant. I will pay the penance for that. Thankfully, the majority has been not past the best before date. But maybe that's also because I've just not been touching those ones. So, and then I've got like, separately, I've kind of tracked like what beer festivals and events have I gone to, and like how many beers do I have at each of those events. It now, many things make sense now. That's all I'll say.
How many did you have at Bristol, Tori?
A lot. That's not the point. And then I've got like a venue. I've done like a whole separate tab of like different venues I've gone to, and like how many times I've gone, and like the total count of like how many beers I've had at that venue. So because sometimes things aren't on Untapped, and I just want to know, like, cool, this isn't on Untapped, or I've not been able to check it in because I've already left the venue by that point. I'm doing a late check-in. So what I will say is I've actually been really good at being on top of my Untapped check-ins this year. I've been really good at that. I think there's maybe the odd occasion where I haven't, and you'll see a whole bunch flood through at once. But I have been very good at being on top of it. I don't think there's a single one that's not on there.
Yeah, I think I've been doing pretty well with checking them in mostly on time. To the point that I did one at the weekend and I hadn't realised that we were in a bar that had one of those screens and the untapped ticker runs along the bottom.
Oh.
And my I'd literally one beer, and my colleague was like, "You're on the board," and I was like, "I'm doing it for the podcast. Leave me alone." I wanted to make sure I checked it into the right venue.
Oh, see, I would be like, "I'm on the board, everyone." Beep beep, celebrity coming through. I don't know if you see my name up there. Like, it's me.
Someone's knocked you off. I'm like, cool. Hi, Tom. You know it was you.
How dare. I take pride in that. I go, this is great. But yeah, I think people can make fun and they can go, that's super nerdy. But I find it really interesting because you can look at trends. You can be like, what's a very popular hop? What is not a very popular hop? SARS. I've only had like 4 beers that have had it. We know why. Like it's interesting to kind of see like what hops, like when I do it this year and then I will do it again next year. It'll be really interesting to compare the data to be like, cool, from this year to this year, here's how it's changed. IT data nerd.
Join us, beer nerds and beer geeks, to find out all the data.
And just overall, like, data. Like, there's a whole website, I think it's called, like, Data is Beautiful. I think that's what it's called. And all it is just, like, different types of, like, visuals of, like, scatter plots of all different types of stuff. And, like, oh, no, there's a subreddit of Data is Beautiful. Recommend it. It's great.
So we're gonna have the best end of year podcast. We're gonna have all the data.
Oh my god! By that point, I hope it's all my stuff is all visualized and I can like take a screenshot of it and show you. That'll be really good.
That'd be so good. Right. Let's move on to drink harder. But what are you now drinking?
I am drinking. It's funny you mentioned pink moon because I've got many moons from Siren. And that's because it was aged for 36 months. And it's what, and that will be very important in a minute. But that's also because, like, I've had this one. So there's a few that I've had that are, a lot of Sirens are actually in the barrel project. Are probably around the mark that we needed or more. But, like, I haven't had them yet in bottle. I've had them on, like, tap, but you know, when they've had them at events. This one I've actually had numerous times. So I was like, I'm okay to have this one. I don't need to wait for a special occasion. I've had it. So yeah, that's why I picked this one. What are you having?
I have got barrel aged Never Tell Me the Odds from Arundel, Emperors and Sussex Small Batch.
I like that. I like that name.
Barrel aged in rum barrels.
Nice.
And the original unbarrel aged was available when we were at Arundel and Friends.
Oh, it's
so
just
I've now got the barrel aged one. I bought that. I picked that one because I needed a beer that starts with N.
I was going to say it's just a shame that you don't have somewhere to log that fact. You know, next year I'll make you an outline so you can track your aging as well. You just use my template. It's fine.
Yeah.
Cool. Shall we talk through the drink harder challenge?
Yeah. Right, drink harder.
Can I explain as well that basically when I say at the start that I was like, I'm basically doing this on hard mode comparatively.
Yeah.
It's because when we go through some of these, I am like, I have done a particular part of a challenge, but then I was like, I'll amp it up to the next mode. And I'll do the next level of it. But I didn't want to start it until after we had this episode. That will make sense in a minute when we talk about number 2.
Number 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Shall I read it? Right. So I did number 1, drink a beer that is in your fridge the longest, last quarter review. Have you done this one?
The difficulty, I'll tell you what, Joanne. Okay. It is difficult because some
Do you
stuff...
not know what's the oldest beer in your?
I do, because I have an
Oh, you
Excel
do?
spreadsheet. Thank you very much. For anyone that's listening only and not watching, I just want you to know I pushed my non-existent glasses
We
up my
pushed our
nose
glasses back
because, well, actually,
up. Actually,
I do
I've
know.
got a spreadsheet.
But my problem is I haven't really consulted it, and like some of the stuff that I've had for quite a long time is going to be stuff that I'm purposely aging.
Yeah.
So I don't want to just have that. So I'm not going to lie to you, I've kind of written that one off. And there's a chance that I already had it just to get rid of it.
But isn't it like, but it's what's been in your fridge the longest, not what's the oldest in your stash.
Then to be fair, I actually, I'll tell you what, I definitely 100% did. And I'll tell you what it was.
Okay.
It was tracks. I can tell you when I had it as well. Hang on. Let me quickly do a quick untapped because I know I had it.
Just quick, like, referee's clarification on that. It is the beer that has been in your fridge the longest.
Yeah, this one
not necessarily the one that's been in your stash the longest.
This one was 100%, probably both in my stash the longest and in my fridge the longest. It was back in January. I had Lost at Sea, which was a track collab with Pahala.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a Imperial Double Pastry Stout, and it was basically trying to get like French toast.
Did we drink that together?
Nope. Or maybe we did. We might have done. We might have done.
We did. We drank that together.
We did. That one was 100% in my stash.
Yeah.
Because I've had that in my stash since probably 2022, I would say. Maybe even before that, maybe even 2021. Yeah. But I mean, it wasn't awful. Like, it genuinely wasn't even bad. Like, it was actually quite good.
Yeah, it was still very good.
Yeah, so I would actually say, I'm not going to lie, I feel like, yes, that's been in my fridge for quite a long time. And I finally drank it, so.
Completed it, mate.
Completed it.
Drink a line up where each beer starts with a letter from the name of your home state and 2 you can spell it out. So I was going to like make a conscious effort to do this, and I haven't done it. I was going to pick a beer that started with K, but the beer that I found that started with K in my stash, I want to save for another recording that we'll do, and that will become clear then. So instead, I picked E and N tonight.
The worst part is you've got 4 letters. You have 4 letters.
Yeah, but I'm going to do... You made me do Florida as well.
But well, no, we said once you did one, you had to do the other.
Yeah, so once I've done Kent, I'll then do Florida. But also, I shared my journal page online, and someone was like, "Why have you got Florida on there? You're not from Florida." And
You're
I was
like, because
Kent is. I was like, because Kent is super short, and Tori's got Massachusetts.
Yeah, like that is.
That's why.
That is not fair.
Yeah,
Florida is your American. Your American. I mean, you could have done Alaska, I guess.
I could have done
Alaska. That's it. Maybe switch to Alaska. Switch it to Alaska.
I probably lived. I've already written it in the journal.
Oh, it's too late. It's in now
with lines, so that I can put them in. It's all laid out. No, Florida is probably the place that I've air quotes lived in the US the most. So
to be fair, I think that is why we picked that one for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as the person that had 4 letters, and Muggins had Massachusetts, and we can't, for one that's later, we can't mix the 2. I did it. I did all of Massachusetts.
Good job.
And then, so the next one, I was like, I'll do Berkshire. Because if you're going to do Kent in Florida, I'll do...
Yeah.
Even though I still end up with infinitely more.
She's doing it on hard mode. Yeah,
I'm doing it on hard mode. But when I say that, it's because I've got Berkshire, and I know I've definitely had beers that were, but I'm like, I'll wait until this episode, because I don't want to start logging them already unless I get really desperate. Like, if it hits December and I have some that I haven't done, I'm like, all right, let's call in the old ones I haven't logged yet. Okay. So yeah, finished Massachusetts. I got Morrisman, Auto Rock. So Morrisman from Elusive, Auto Rock from Overtone, Spectral Rave from Disruption, Soundwave IPA from Siren, Above the Chaos, Disruption and Electric Bear collab, Cerveza from Fierce, Hue Creator from Polly's, Unfiltered British Lager from Utopian, Submit from Disruption and The Hive, experimental Kust blend from Dutch Bargain, Taipei from Three Hills, Two Pump Chump from Angry Chair Brewing, and Shelburne from Elusive.
Well done.
That's my Massachusetts.
Very proud of you.
Thank you.
Enjoy a happy hour special. Now, you did this last time, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I did it in Q1.
Yeah.
I went to Cozy Club and I enjoyed the
Yeah.
tea time tipple, ordered a plum and maple sour and a mango colada because it's 2 for 1.
I did this over the weekend with Tom. Hi, Tom. Tom's my unofficial challenge buddy.
I guess that makes Rick my unofficial challenge buddy. So.
And we did a 2 for 1 special at the Blind Rabbit in Nottingham, and we had abracadabra cocktails that were blue and had glitter in them.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and they had Tennessee honey in them, and you had to swirl it around. Like, it was, you got a tarot card like pinned to the glass. It was in a Pilsner glass as well, which I thought was brilliant that we were drinking cocktails out of Pilsner glasses. They pinned a tarot card to it, and then on the back of the tarot card it was like, enjoy the magic, put your cell phone flashlight underneath the glass and then swirl it and see the magic happen. It's great. It was tasty too.
I think it feels unfair in the sense of like, you've got a person that's your unofficial buddy that's actively promoting that you do some of these things. The difference is like, I'm like, I need to do this, and Rick's like, okay, and he just goes along with it. But he's not like I feel like Tom for you is actively like, you have to do this challenge.
Tom was like, what else have we got to do? Have we done everything? What else have we got to do? Oh, we can't do that. Oh, no, we can't do that. Oh, there's nothing more we can do this weekend.
Like, what can we do? Upset. Whereas, like, Rick's not like, which ones can we do? He's just like, no. If we have to go do a thing, like, all right. Like, when I did when we were out for dinner and the whiskey drink, spoiler alert, the whiskey drink, vodka drink, lager drink, cider drink, last year, that was in my Q4. I tackled this one way early in the year on a night out, and Rick was just like, I thought we weren't going to drink that much tonight, and I was just like, we're not, I just need to get these 4 in. And he was like, okay.
Well, we were having a discussion about this over the weekend, and my other colleague Nick was like, I think we did a vodka whiskey cider drink at Indie Man last year, and I was like, I don't think I did, and he's like, I'm pretty sure I did. And I'm like, I don't think I did. Like, and we're drunk fairly similar things, so I don't think I've done a cider.
No, because I think when we talked last year about it, you were like, I came really close, but there was like one that you had really missed.
Close. Yeah, I hadn't had a cider, but I think I'd had a whiskey and vodka, and I'd had a beer, but I don't think I'd had a cider that night. So it was fine. I did it this year because Tom made me in quarter 1. Thanks, Tom. Right, next one. Attend or host a beer share that isn't Katie's beer school. So, attend or host a beer share.
Yeah.
You've done this already, haven't you?
Well, I counted the living launch, Elusive's living launch, because that was a beer share.
I'm keeping that. I'm going to keep it to one side in case I do one where I share.
I mean, I will also be. I've already got one scheduled in for when I'm back. one of. So have you met Greg? He works at Disruption now. He's absolutely lovely. Oh, Greg is the best. Greg's like, bottle shares happening in July. He's like, well, it's happening. And so he's like, can't have it, not going to have it without you. When do you get back from the US? And then I was like, this is when I get back. And he's given me the date. And I'm like,
nice.
I'm in. And I was like, tell me what styles you want. I'll make sure I'm there for it. So very excited about it. We are. So I do have it. If I don't want to count that one, which in theory it was, but it feels a little bit like a cop out. Yeah, I do have another one that's already penciled in.
Okay, right. Bring a friend to a bar they've never been to. I took you to Craft Beer Junction.
You have? I have taken...
You took Rick somewhere?
No, I didn't count Rick because I was like, that's not fair. I took 2 friends from work to the Good Measure.
Ah, yeah. Was that last? That was last?
Last quarter.
Last quarter?
Yeah.
Right, so 6, go out and order a mocktail or non-alcoholic beer for yourself. I did that last quarter, chug from Mash Gang.
I feel
Have you
like
done that yet?
I was focused on the mocktail part and not the non-alcoholic beer part, so I might have done this. So because I don't know for sure and I haven't, my brain's not really worked out, I'm just going to leave this as, I'm going to hold off, because there will be a point in time where I'll be like, you know what, I'll just get a mocktail. Because I think every time I've gone out to dinner and I'm driving, I'm like, you know what, I'll get a mocktail, but then I end up going, I'll be cheap and just get a Diet Coke or something.
7, drink 10 different fruits, 1 counts per beer. So I did that last time. Have you done 10 fruits now? You have? How many fruits have you done now?
I have done, and this is a different fruit for every single one. I think I'm going to do this again next year. This is actually brilliant doing this, because it's quite a challenge. I can track that. I've got 36 different fruits.
Ooh.
36 different fruits. I've got cranberry, lime, cherry, strawberry, starfruit, bergamot orange, because I'm counting, if it's just like orange and something that's similar, we've not counted it, but if it's a specific variety, I think it said you can count that. So bergamot orange, blackcurrant, pumpkin, honeyberry, dragon fruit, blackberry, blueberry, guava, apricot, grape, coconut, mango, peach, raspberry, banana, pineapple, passion fruit, lemon, nectarine, quince, a peri pear, oddly specific, red currant, mascaris grape, yellow peach, tangerine, pomelo, blood orange, because I did look it up, they are different, papaya, pomegranate, plum, and gooseberries.
Nice.
I'm surprised. I had gooseberries come up yesterday as I was because basically every so often on a weekend, if I'm not doing anything and I'm doing chores, I'm like, let me just clear stuff that's out of date. And because at the end of the day, I'll pour a bit. If I don't like it, it just gets bin. But because I've paid the money for it already.
We've paid for
it. I paid for it. It's up to you. I fucked up. I check it in, but I don't rate it or any of that. So I'm like, YOLO. And I had one with gooseberries the other day. And I was literally shocked, as again when I was adding it to this other side tracker and it wasn't already on there as an adjunct. I was like, oh, this is bizarre. And I was like, let me have a look. And I was like, oh no, I haven't had gooseberries. This is weird. I double checked about 3 times just to make sure.
Nice. Next, 8, drink an award-winning beer from another country. I drank that on our last Q1 episode. Have you done that one yet?
Yeah, so I have. I will say, I hadn't previously been paying attention, if I'm honest. In the sense of, I don't know. When I actually look at it, so many of them have won awards. So the one that I'll say is probably the most recent, the most relevant is Delirium Tremens. And that one was, the latest one, that the European Beer Challenge Gold in 2024. So all of the other, there's a whole bunch of other ones that I had that won different types of awards. But that's from this year. That'll do. Ticks a box.
Yeah. 9, go to a brewery and write about the experience for the blog. I haven't done this one yet.
I had every intention to do it on several occasions. I made notes. It didn't happen.
That might be my 12th blog post.
You can still achieve it.
Yeah.
I'm sure when I go to the US, maybe I would, because I'll have so much downtime for a week of doing nothing after we travel around, that maybe I can muster up.
So here's a question. I am going to go to Little Earth Fest. Does that count because it is in Little Earth Project?
What do you mean? Does that count, if you write about that?
Does that count as going to the brewery and writing about it?
If you're writing about the brewery, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you visited the brewery and you're writing about the brewery and not about the festival that the brewery is hosting, that counts. Sure.
Otherwise, I'm also going to go to duration, so I can just write about that.
I think it's just more if you're writing a blog post about I went to this festival and the festival was all right. That's a bit different to this is what the overall.
But because I'm going to the brewery. I'm going to Little Earth Project for Little Earth Fest. I assume I'll probably get to see the brewery while I'm there. So
I say that counts.
I feel like that counts. 10, cook a savoury dish and bake a sweet dish with beer. I've done this. I've done pizza and brownies. I did that last quarter. No, not yet.
No, okay. But maybe that's an easy, quick win for me. No, 0 plans. Maybe that's a quick and easy win for me in the terms of when I go to the US, I can make like stout brownies or something, and that's like an easy dessert for one night, and to just have to munch on.
Yeah,
that seems reasonable.
Make beer cheese dip.
To be fair, no, because I'm gonna be so. I'm making a guess now. I'm gonna be so over pretzel and beer cheese dip at that point. I think there's a potential that I might have cooked with beer in the sense of I've used it as a baste for like ribs, but I don't really count that because I don't feel like that. I feel like that's a little bit of a cop out because I've just used it to moisturize the ribs. But in a backup, in a pinch, I'll count it.
In a pinch. Get a beer and a sidecar bomb at a dive bar. Now, I can test that I've done this twice, but it's because you wouldn't allow me the first one.
Whoa, time out. Absolutely time out. I didn't say that I wouldn't allow it. I said if that counted to you as a dive bar, great. I said the place that you talked about was not a dive bar. Very great location, very cool location, not a dive bar. And then you went, but the owner says it is. And I said, of course he would. Everybody wants to own a dive bar. Of course you'll be like, my bar is a dive bar. You want it to be. That's so cool to be like, I'm the owner of a dive bar. Then he proceeded to send a video and he went, this will prove that it's a dive bar. That video proved the exact opposite of it. I was like, now I feel like I'm being trolled, but I'm going to respond to this point by point.
So Tom would like to come to the podcast so he can contest his.
I think that would make amazing content.
So it's
a face off. What is a dive bar?
He can contest it. So Tom and I went to Valhalla in York.
Awesome bar.
We did
no complaints.
Really great bar.
Super
Tom
cool.
Was like, this is a dive bar. Let's do this one. So we went in. We had Bubba and
Big no.
Whatever whiskey they picked for us. Did our bomb. Done. Tori said, I don't believe that's a dive bar. They're now in. Yeah, there's now some contention. We're gonna get Tom on.
I will say, all I said was, that's definitely not a dive bar. But if that's a dive bar to you, fine. I said that you can do that. I'm not holding you accountable for that. I wouldn't do that because I know it's not a dive bar. And I said to Rick, we were driving, and I was like, she's calling Valhalla a dive bar. And Rick's like, nah, that's a themed bar. That is not a dive bar. And I was like, thank you.
So, because it was disallowed, because we have.
It wasn't disallowed.
Things, then we went and found the Blind Rabbit in Nottingham. We took photographs and sent them to Tori and White.
That was fine.
Does this count as a dive bar? She said yes. So then,
by his own rules, by the video that he sent me, it was like, you can't have windows. And then it's like, Valhalla's all fucking windows. It is all windows. Oh my God. There's a whole bunch of windows. It's like from the outside, you're not meant to know that it's a bar. There's literally things up out front that say Valhalla across it. I'm like, know that's a bar.
They were not up when I went.
Oh,
they were not.
Okay.
Anyway, we found the Blind Rabbit. Tori verified that it was a dive bar.
That one was a dive bar. It was dark and dingy, absolute dive bar.
Neons. It had lights hanging over the bar that were like advertising old beers. We got Millers, and we had Tennessee honey bombs in a Miller. It was
that sounds nice though, actually.
It was fun. It was nice.
To be fair, I'm reformed. I like Miller now. I'm living the high life.
This was genuine draft as well. So we have Miller genuine draft in bottles.
Pardon? Oh, spoiled you.
3 for $12.
That's dive bar prices. I'll tell you that.
Right. And then we had shots of Tennessee honey and did our bombs. So I have done this one now. Huzzah.
I'm just saying, like the question, would I rather be in Valhalla or a dive bar? I'd rather be in Valhalla. Valhalla's fucking awesome. We took Phelan. Yeah. She was not a fan. The table next to us was being really nice to her though, so she liked that. I left my phone there. Rick had to run back and go get it for me. Because I was so focused on the dog that I was like, let me gather her things, and I put the phone down and then I walked off without it. York's lovely, no one stole it, so that was great. York is, the beer selection at Valhalla, like, this is the thing, it's like a dive bar, you don't really get craft beers at a dive bar, number one, almost exclusively craft beers.
fine. Whatever.
You're not getting Miller on draft.
Have you done this?
No. Because
Okay.
when I go in dive bars, I'm not there for that. I'm there
Can
for...
I recommend the Blind Rabbit in
I thought you were going to be like, can I recommend Valhalla? For some reason, when I was at Valhalla, it didn't strike me that I should get a sidecar and bomb.
You should.
I would do it when I'm back. I would. Oh, I was going to say I'll do one when I'm back in the US, but the place that we're going for holiday, I don't want to do that. not our personal holiday, but our family holiday. I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to do that.
No, fine. Number 12. Drink 5 beers, each featuring 5 American sea hops. I did this last time. I would say by your 77 hops now, you must have done
this. Was done like
hops,
this was done in like month 2, I think.
Yes, right, lovely. So we've done that one. Right, 13. Play a movie drinking game. Right, so we haven't done this because we were thinking about doing it for Christmas or Halloween with a little witch's hat on the.
I like the witch's hat idea because the whole idea was we'll really struggle. With drinking like with movie drinking games, because like there's normally so many rules that you have to follow, and I'm not going to remember all that. So we collectively thought the easiest way to play a drinking game is the hat on the TV.
Yeah, although
the mustache.
I sent you the one that was the mustache.
I like the hat though.
Buffy, and Spike got the mustache, and I was like, I want to drink to Spike wearing a mustache.
I like the hat idea though. The witch's hat idea. Great.
I feel like we should do Witch's Hat and watch Hocus Pocus and see how often we
I love Hocus Pocus so much. So yeah.
So that is to come.
We can do Hocus Pocus 1, then Hocus Pocus 2.
Yeah. Oh yes, let's do that. Oh, that sounds like a drunk evening.
I actually don't think people will wear the witch's hat as much as you think they will. No, because they're normally like middle of the screen.
Yeah, that's true. Right. 14. Ask for a recommendation from a bartender and drink it. I have done this.
I do this like every fucking time I go out.
I know you do this all the time, but I never do this because I just like to pick my own thing. So I was at the Loki tap room and I asked Drew to pick me a beer.
Who's that? I don't know who that is.
Oh, you don't know who that is?
I don't know. Does he have something to do with... I know Drew from a separate entity. Does he have to do... Was he just visiting? Does he work there? Oh, okay. He works there now for the Loki guy. Oh, okay.
Yeah, for the Loki.
Oh, okay, cool. I just thought I would check.
And he recommended me Flock's Dipper, whose name I can't remember now.
I love that out of everything.
Flock's Dipper it was.
I love that out of everything he could have recommended you. He was like, Dipper.
But it's because it was fresh on that day and it was literally being launched that day. So
fair.
I tried it. I think it's.
I bet it was great.
One of my beer styles.
I really like Flock. So
yeah. So I have done that. Have you? Did you tick that off last quarter?
Literally in January. Like I actively will go someplace, and this is the thing is I know people say, oh, bartenders don't like this or whatever. Like it's a difficult question or it's a pain. Just pick what you want. It's like sometimes I go in and I go, I like all 6 things. I don't know what I want. I'm going to stay for multiple drinks, or like maybe I'm only staying for one and I can't pick, and I'll just be like, just pick a random one. Like even if it's not one that you recommend, just pick one. Like, because for me, it's a lucky dip.
Yeah.
Surprise me, I can't make up my mind.
Right, next one. Buy someone a drink for their birthday. I did this. I bought our friend Alex a beer for her birthday while we were at Fine Fest.
I bought my friend Amy a beer for her birthday. Okay. She now joined, so she's joined our Berkshire Beer Birds meetup. So if you're in the Berkshire area or just outside the Berkshire, it's not like you have to be in Berkshire, but if you're willing to travel to Berkshire, you're visiting Berkshire. We have monthly, I'm going to use this as a shameless plug, we have monthly meetups. I can't go to July's, unfortunately, but I brought Amy into the fold on that one. She was going to come to International Women's Collaboration Brew Day with me, but she couldn't because she was too busy winning awards at work and being a high achiever, so she got to go on a ski trip where the rest of us who are just working the 9 to 5, we didn't get that, so I was able to go. She couldn't, but we went to the Hive. I bought her a beer for her birthday. It was great.
Nice. Visit a winery. I have not done this yet.
I haven't because our bud Ruth recommended one that was local, like around the Berkshire area, and she said it was really, really lovely in summer.
Yeah.
So I was waiting for the weather to be nice. So
It
far,
feels like a summer thing.
summer hasn't arrived. So,
No.
but there's a potential that I may be able to visit one when I'm in the US, because I go by and around quite a few in the various locations that I am. If not, I will probably, hopefully it'll be nicer weather when I come back, and I'll go to the one that's nearby.
Beautiful. Have a beer at 10 different breweries. I completed this last time. Did you decide you'd completed it last time, or did you not quite complete it?
I hadn't quite completed it, but
have you done it now?
I have done it now, and I've continued to do like with the fruit. I just see how many. So I'm up to 16.
Good job.
Yeah, I think I enjoy tracking, like the first time that I go to any different type of place, like this type of thing of tracking the different fruits and track like sounds like it takes a lot of effort, doesn't, and is actually really fun to look back on, to be like, oh yeah, that's cool, I went there and I didn't think I'd go there. So
18, drink a beer mosa or beer bloody / michelada before 11 a.m. I did this while I was on annual leave for my birthday. I made myself a beer mosa with Blue Moon for brunch while I was having a nice time off at home. It was great.
I was originally going to do this on the bus on the way to International Women's Collaboration Brew Day. So I met up with Ruth and Rachel, who obviously people know who Ruth is, but Rachel's another one of our friends. We were traveling to Double Barrel together, and I was like, would it be weird if I brought like a tiny bottle of champagne and had a beer mosa on the bus? And they were like, do it. But I didn't expect them to like participate. I just thought it would be me being really sad. And then when I showed up, they were like, did you bring the beer mosa stuff? And I was like, no. And I was like, because I didn't want to be sad drinking on the bus by myself. And they were like, we would have done it with you. So then I kind of felt like regret on that, because I was like, I should have done it. But then I also didn't want to show up already having had like a beer mosa. So I did do it. I did it on the bank holiday weekend for Easter. I did Prosecco I did basically a beer mosa with, I think it was Queen Julius. I was like, I got a Queen Julius to burn. Let's do this. It was either that or I used a different, it was either Trillium or Treehouse, one of those ones. Because it was a juicy boy. And it was funny because I looked at my watch and I was like, I've got less than an hour to get this beer mosa in. Go. And Rick was like, why? I thought you were going to be healthy today. I was like, not today. It's a bank holiday and I need to get this in.
My friend, not today. So I also have made it since, because it was so delicious that I made it again. And I paired it with a book, because this particular book that I'd read, they drank mimosas in the book. And I was like, right, I'm making a beer mosa to pair with
beer
this
mosas
book.
are great.
Worked out perfectly. Beer mosas are great. Highly recommend, peeps. Let us know if you want me to share the recipe, if you want to make your own. Attend an event at a brewery. We both said International Women's Collaboration Brew Day, didn't we?
We did. And then I did put like a second being at the Tortugas. I did 4 different breweries. And then I did She Drinks Beer in May. And I went to another She Drinks Beer since. So
nice.
Yeah.
Smashing it.
20. Yeah, I might not be getting to go. I might not be getting to go on a ski trip. I'm not Amy. I'm not smashing it at work. I'm not doing that great, but I'm doing really great in my beer goals.
Good job. Number 20, drink a whiskey drink, a vodka drink, a lager drink, and a cider drink in one sitting. I did this because Tom made me while we were at Indie Beer Feast. You've done this now, I believe.
I did it in Reading.
Yeah,
but I did that in Reading, and I thought
about it.
So I did it in Reading, yay! And I was thinking I might do it again. I might run through it again in terms of doing it as like beer cocktails. Okay, because I did it quite literally. Like why in the sense of,
why are you making yourself?
I had a lager. So when I did it, I literally had a lager. I had White Russian, I had some type of whiskey cocktail, and I had a snake bite, which was, instead of having cider, it was a cider drink. So I think next time I might just do them all as like beer and cider cocktails the cider already is cocktail, but I might be like, how can I do this in a beer cocktail way? Maybe I'll use ChatGPT to generate me some interesting beer cocktails, and I'll do that while I'm on holiday, because I think that'll be fun.
ChatGPT does a good job of that.
It really surprisingly does a really good job of making specific beer cocktails and giving like rationale behind why it's funny.
Yeah. Right, next one. 21. Drink a stout barrel aged 0 to 12 months, 13 to 24 months, and 25 plus months. Had you done all of these?
Well, I have now.
Ah, nice.
So I had done the 0 to 12 months. And that one I did this when I was in Belgium. And then black and blue. So I had black and blue from Emperors, and I did that one, I think, in Q1. And I was just missing the 25-month plus because that one was, I had a lot of Siren ones, but there was none that I just wanted to like take out the bow. So I was kind of like, which one can I, like, will I organically come across something or not? And I don't think I ever did in the end, or because a lot of them are so unspecified. They're like, maybe we've barrel aged it for that long, or maybe not. And you're like, cool, don't know what that means. So that's why I picked this one, because I'm like, 36 months definitely covers it. So
I had refashioned the other week, and I was like, oh, that counts towards my challenge. It's a barley wine. And this specifically
I guess to be fair, this one doesn't count because it's not this one's not a stout, it's a sour.
Oh, but are we allowing barrel aged things rather than stouts? Because it says stouts, but
I think let's do both. Let's do a both. Well, we can do like because also my 0 to 12 months was not, but then I definitely had 0 to 12 month ones. I just didn't count them because I was like, already did it, ticked it off.
Right. So we'll see how that. We'll continue to work on that.
TBC. I'm gonna amend this one on my side that says drink a stout and a non-stout.
Yeah, because I've had a 25 plus months barley wine. I need to check the others. I haven't checked to see if I've had them. I may have done, but I've also got a couple of Emperors put aside that I know fit into this.
If I don't put the and non-stout in there, I'll just completely go till the end of the year and be like, crushed it, did it, completed it, mate.
22. Order a flight of beers that are all different colours.
I really struggled with this one because I've not
done it yet.
I think if I'm going to be able to do it, it will be when I'm in the US, because there's so many more tap lines. There's so many more lines at tap rooms in the US compared to here. So I feel like here you get between like 6 to 10, maybe typically at a push, usually less, closer to the 6 side. And it's really hard because it tends to be like lager, a stout, an IPA, a pale ale, and maybe a sour. Colours. And that's the thing, is like sometimes, like if we're being pedant, like I could go, the SRMs are technically different, but I feel like this needs to be very obviously different. So I think the tactic I need to deploy here is either get a flight where you're getting like a flight of 3 and being like a flight of 3, and let's pick 3 a stout, a sour, and a pale. Because it's really hard, because the pale and IPAs, they're very similar. Sometimes the colour of a lager can be similar to some of those of the IPAs, and I'm like, SRMs are different, but to the naked eye they look the same-ish.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet. I haven't found anywhere that I can do that.
I argue that's probably the hardest.
I think it is probably one of the hardest. Go listen to our beer flight episode to hear more about beer flights and our feelings.
Weigh in on it.
23. Tip the bill for your drinks and make someone stay. Tip 100%. I think this one's going to be really hard as well, because like when I'm paying for things, I just never see the opportunity to tip people.
If I'm going to be able to do it, it's going to be in the US. Well, the problem is it's going to be so much more expensive over there. And that's what's going to be like the pain, because I'm like, like Rick, because he is so against not that he's against tipping culture, because he's not against tipping. It's the tipping culture in the US, which is like pretty toxic. Like he was talking about, he saw a post the other day, and people were like, they're going to increase their minimum wage to £3, and everyone was like, this is the problem with tipping culture, is people get paid fuck all because businesses prey on the fact that you need tips. And the problem is like, you're not going to move the needle. Like no one's going to be able to move the needle unless it's like a massive overhaul, which will just never happen. No. So that's why it's hard, because like in the US, he'll be like wound up, like you can't tip 100% on this ridiculous bill already. You tip for everything. Right. But equally, when I'm over here and I'm fully prepared to tip 100%, I either forget or there's literally no option. I have had people, I went down to Siren to collect a beer for us the other day, And when you're there, it's like, oh, you can tip. And the dude just like clicked,
like
he was just like, no, it's fine. Because obviously it wasn't like I was getting takeaway cans and he was just like, nah, sorry, hang on. And I was like, oh, I could have tipped on that.
Could have tipped you. Yeah, could have tipped you.
To be fair though, I also have gone up and they've got like if you like your service, you can just tap the thing and tip like whatever the mandatory amount is. And I've done that before, but I wouldn't say it was like on a bill, so that it doesn't really count as 100% of a bill.
Yeah, that one's gonna be hard, I think. Last one, 24. Make a 5-ingredient beer cocktail. Garnishes count as one total. So I have done this. I was doing some little ChatGTP work for Love Beer Learning, and as part of that I was doing, one of the questions was, okay, now write a cocktail recipe for me based on what you know about me and my business. And then I made it do it as a beer cocktail one with 5 ingredients. So ChatGTP came up with the Love Beer Spritz. It should have a light citrusy craft beer, like a Belgian wit beer or a citrus-infused pale ale, representing the diverse flavours of craft beer. It should have elderflower liqueur for its floral sweetness that sentence doesn't make any sense. Good job, ChatGTP. It should have elderflower liqueur for its floral sweetness and as a symbol of inclusivity. It should have sparkling water to add effervescence and lighten the drink. It should have fresh lemon juice to provide a bright citrusy zing that complements the beer and elderflower flavours. And it should have aromatic bitters to add complexity and depth, balancing the sweetness with a subtle hint of spice. So to make it, it tells me in a chilled glass, combine 2 parts light citrusy craft beer with 1 part elderflower liqueur. Add a splash of sparkling water to taste, adjusting to achieve the desired level of effervescence. Squeeze in a fresh lemon wedge or add ½ ounce of fresh lemon juice for a vibrant citrus kick. Can't speak today. Finish with a few dashes of aromatic bitters for complexity, stirring gently to incorporate. Garnish with a lemon twist or a sprig of fresh herbs, such as thyme or basil, for an aromatic touch.
I was doing the math on that. My math don't be mathing, but normally because I'm bad at math. But I was like, that's 4 ingredients. I was like, there has to be a garnish somewhere. And then you're like,
5.
Yeah. So in my brain, I was going, oh, that's only 4 that you listed out. And then it was when you went,
no, it's 5 plus a garnish. So it's craft beer, elderflower liqueur, sparkling water.
I missed the beer.
Fresh lemon juice.
I got the other bits to it, and my brain was going, that's 4, and I was like, that's 4. And then I was like,
beer in it because it's a beer cocktail.
I was going, that's 4, and I was like, there's got to be a garnish. There's got to be a garnish.
So this is 5 plus a garnish. This is 5 plus a garnish, right? So this enhanced Love Beer Spritz maintains the balance of flavours while introducing a subtle complexity that reflects the depth of your brand's commitment to beer education and community. Cheers to Love Beer Learning. Is that what ChatGPT wrote? So
you inspired me to write one for me as well. I was like, ask ChatGPT.
So I had this recipe and then I went to get the ingredients for it and I couldn't get the ingredients for it. I could not find elderflower liqueur anywhere.
That's shocking.
Yeah, couldn't find it anywhere. So instead, I bought a wit beer. I bought elderflower cordial. I bought a rum grapefruit cocktail in a can.
Solid.
I bought a lemon for lemon juice. I bought some bitters and I added rosemary and lemon as a twist. So there was wit beer, rum grapefruit, elderflower cordial, lemon juice, bitters, and I added a rosemary and lemon twist. So actually, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm just laughing at the fact that you're like, and then I got this cocktail and I like, fuck it, I got the cocktail.
And I was like, because then I was like, okay, I can't find elderflower liqueur. I want to buy something that I'm gonna use. So I was like, let me buy some tequila or something. So I've got a different alcohol in there. Couldn't find anything that I liked for those.
Oh.
I was in Waitrose as well because that's the only place that I knew would have elderflower.
I'm literally
sure. Did not have it.
Tesco and Morrison's normally have Saint Germain.
No, they didn't have it either.
That's shocking.
So, which is why I ended up in Waitrose, and Waitrose didn't have it. So then I was like, right, what am I going to do? Let me go. I was like, oh, they've got cocktails in a can over there. Let me go see if any of those have got elderflower in it. No, so I was just like, do you know what? It's supposed to be light and citrusy. So I found the rum and grapefruit cocktail, and I was like, right, it's got rum in it, it's got grapefruit. We're gonna have a wit beer. We're gonna have elderflower cordial, lemon juice, dash of bitters, and then I did a rosemary and lemon garnish.
Did you like
I
it?
did it for my birthday. It was delicious.
I was waiting for you to be like, it was shit.
No, it was great. And I've even I wrote down the amounts that I put in as well, so I can recreate it. But I can't remember which rum grapefruit cocktail it was, but any rum grapefruit cocktail will work. But yeah, it was good. 200 ml of wit beer, 50 ml of rum grapefruit cocktail, 50 ml of elderflower cordial, a half ounce of lemon juice, dash of bitters, and then do something pretty with a bit of lemon.
Do something pretty.
Lemon peel and a bit of rosemary.
You got this. Do something pretty.
It was good. I put it in a nice glass.
What type of glass did you use?
I used like a coupe glass, like a coupe glass.
Nice.
Yeah. Felt proper fancy.
You are proper fancy.
It's good.
I haven't done mine yet because you inspired me to ask ChatGPT. So I was like, create me one for my Instagram, and then it made one, and I was like, oh, it sounds banging. And then I was thinking, oh, I'd do it for tonight, and then I was like, I won't do it. I'll wait. I was like, I'll wait for like maybe tomorrow night or something. And I feel like it's interesting, like how what I really like is a breakdown of like why it's picked the drink that it's picked, and that's what I think is really funny. Or there'd be certain ones I'm like, I don't have that. Like I would be like, create this cocktail without this, because I was like, that is way too difficult.
Yeah, so I'm thinking because maybe I'll do a beer cocktail for when you're going to do yours. Maybe I'll find what ingredients I've got and just go to ChatGPT and be like, these are my ingredients, come up with a beer cocktail for this.
Try asking it for, because I asked it for one for, because you said for your school, which appreciate that your Instagram handle is the same as your school. I asked it for my Instagram handle. Ask it to see if it changes anything for your Instagram handle and see if it does anything different. I do love a good beer cocktail. They are fun. I think that was the end of the drink harder.
That's the last one. I feel like I'm just going to ask ChatGPT to make me beer cocktail recipes now.
I'm doing that all the time, like for sure. For the next, solidly, probably for the next few weeks.
Right, top tip: get your IO overlords to make you a beer cocktail recipe.
So that was the end of like the drink harder challenge. But when we did ask people to give suggestions for like what we should do in terms of like if we were to make an ongoing challenge, one person or a few people actually said go through the alphabet. I went through the alphabet. I did it.
Yeah, of course you did.
I did A through Z. A through Z. The only annoying thing was there was one that I got, which was for X, and it was listed as one thing, but when you actually check it in on Untapped, the name's slightly different. But I went with what it was listed under because I was like, because basically it's a Stone Brewing one, and it's one that starts with an X, and it's like they've named it really weird on Untapped. Like you can tell Untapped's the one that's wrong. So I was like, no, I'm not going with that. I'm going to go with the name.
I'm not going with that,
So this is another one separate to the Massachusetts Berkshire thing, which is like, I know that I've had another one that's an X, but I've not logged it because I was like, I want to wait to have this episode so I can say I did the whole alphabet. From today, I can start going through the alphabet again.
You're going to start again.
But if we get to the end of the year and I haven't done an X, I'm 100% calling that one in because fuck me. Because I think what I'm doing is the first one was the beer name, and this time I'm trying to do it with brewery name as opposed to beer name.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like, I got a brewery that starts with X. And then I was like, it's fine. I'll try to make it happen again. And if not, I'll just pull that one through. So that's fine. I've also tracked the different, like I said, I've tracked the different countries. I've tracked the different stuff there. But the one that I will say is probably worth talking about is like accomplishments for us. So in Q1, we had that we hosted a panel, or that I hosted a panel at International Women's Collaboration Brew Day. You were doing stuff on your side as well. We got to brew with Sophie Devron. Like that was awesome.
Yeah, we did.
We got to be in a book. We have that book now. That was awesome. Like, yes, we talked about this in Q1. I'm talking about it again because that was fucking awesome. I told my sister. My sister was like, "Did you get the book for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, got you all the book." Yeah. And she's like, "Are you going to sign my book?" And I was like, "No."
You have to sign. I said next to the.
I said I would sign it. I said I would sign it, and she goes, "Can you sign it like Tom Haverford would sign it from like Parks and Rec? Like, can you sign it like?" Someday maybe you could be like a quarter like me. And I said, yeah, I'll sign something that's like, if you try every day, maybe someday I'll mention you in my next mentioned book or something like that. And she was like, please sign it like that. I was like, I promise I will. So there's that. Getting to do multiple brew days so far and some volunteering for pouring beers. That's been cool. Since then, for this quarter, it was, for me personally, it was getting to go on the Tour de Gueuze, having the West Flittering, actually being up to date on my Untapped was a really big one for me. But yeah, I think so far the book, in terms of both of us, is like, I remember when we thought we'd never have another brew day. Right, let alone be immortalized in a book talking about pumpkin spice. That's next level. So that was cool. Any other big accomplishments you want to add for the year roundup so far?
I've just kind of been working. Ran a couple of bars at the weekend for people.
Casual bar running.
Cash, just like I'd keep yelling at one brewer because he kept walking off with his phone, and I'm like, if you want me to sell your beer, I need your phone.
Is that the card?
The card machine doesn't work. I need your phone.
Like, give me please.
Phone. I was like, I can give people your beer if you want. Like, I was like, give me the phone so I can sell it for you. I think that's it. I've been really kind of focused on when I'm at home, because let's be real, I don't get that often at home when we're in this high season of events. I've been spending the time doing cozy things, like doing a lot of reading and filling out my journal, and just doing quiet things.
Speaking of reading, I have been tracking how many beer related books I've read this year. So far I've read 2 specific beer related books, and I'm more than halfway through a third one, and I've got the next one lined up for what it'll be. So yeah, I thought I'll track beer related books this year, so I'm like, here's everything I read. I've tried to do every quarter the most interesting beer I've had and the best one. So you talked about yours at the beginning. So for me, the most interesting ones I had in Q1 was the Coit, the group beer that I had, because that was like, for anyone that doesn't know, it was a Yobbin beer. It was based on a recipe from 1407, and I was like, that is insane. And then also I had the Chicha Sour, which we talked about on one of our other episodes. I'm excited so good, based on a Peruvian Chicha Morada using blue corn, the maize morada. So that was cool. I think those two, like each of those, that was the most interesting one for Q2. It'll be interesting to see at the end of the year which one is the overall most interesting beer of the year. Like, we need to do an awards. Like, I feel like we should do an awards for the most interesting.
So you need to sort out your beer bracket, because I've got my beer bracket in my journal. So you'll have to start tracking yours so we can. We do it when we get to.
We can do that. I think like that's a next year goal, but this year we should at least be like awards for like most interesting, the most standout, and then my best beers for the quarter. My first one was Moonflower for Q1, and that was the Hidden Springs Ale Work. That was the PB&J one that we had. It came very close to the Angry Chair, and I had a Parish Brewing Co. one as well. That was a coffee stout, and that was amazing. Like, all those are really good, but ultimately the Hidden Springs Ale Works PB&J one stood out on my brain for Q1. And Q2, it's Civility Manners Decorum from Turning Point Beer, which is a US brewery. It was a Hawaiian punch beer. Oh my God, it was so good. It tasted like Hawaiian punch. It was too easy to drink. I loved it. I feel like for me, it seems really stupid. What I've learned from this, I've got a toddler's palate, and I'm fine with that. Like, when it comes to like, I am so American when it comes to like beer flavors that stand out to me. Like, people are like, oh, the most intense barley wines, and I'm like, oh, cool. But like, can I have like a PB&J and some Hawaiian punch, please? Thank you.
I had a Thai green curry saison from Tartarus at the weekend.
Interesting.
That was fun.
I was going to say another one that
it.
came close was the Thai PA, because I was like, from Three Hills, I was like, that one's interesting just because it's like the kaffir leaves and stuff. I was like, that could be close, but you can't beat a chicha sour. Like, for me, that might be the most interesting beer of the whole year that I'll probably ever have. And it's tasty AF.
I'm looking forward to it. Before we finish, do you want to know our top 3 podcast episodes for the quarter?
Oh yeah,
as well.
I like that you look for the quarter. Normally we get to like end of the year and we're like, what's the most one? We should do this every quarter.
Because I'm tracking this, I thought we'd do it every quarter. So
I like that.
Do you want to guess what might have been?
I can't even remember what we did last week, let alone the quarter. I'm gonna just like take a stab in the dark and say the interview with Holy Goat, because a lot of people told me that they enjoyed the questions.
I think that fell into quarter 1.
Oh shit, did it?
Yeah.
Can you give me multiple choice? Can you just throw something out there?
I'm just going to tell you.
Okay.
So top 3 podcasts. Top number 1. Well, let's do it in reverse order. 3rd place, your review of Turd-Gers.
Oh wow, Rick will be very happy.
With Rick.
Yay! I'll tell him he made the top 3 for the quarter.
Yeah. Because I just think it's like it was an interesting thing, and like when we were looking,
you don't talk a lot about it. Yeah, what you found was from years ago.
Yeah, so I think people are interested in that because there isn't that much.
I think this needs to be part of our awards at the end of the year. It's like, what's the top one? It would be like the nominees are, and it will be each quarter will be the nominees.
I'll actually get
Rick can be in a suit, and I'll be like, you won.
Oh my God. We can actually get the sound effects out.
Oh my God, I would love that so much. If we start planning now, there's a chance we might be able to pull this off by the end of the year. Maybe. Potentially.
Right, in 2nd place, the Beer Flight Debate.
Whoa!
Yeah. But
the crowd's going wild.
But your favourite episode, listeners, of the quarter, top rated beers.
Oh yeah, I did have a lot of people talk to me about that. Somebody shared it in a Facebook group, and I was not expecting that. I was like, oh. I was scrolling through and I went, that looks like me. Oh, it is me.
That's me. Someone actually came up to me over the weekend when I was at Nottingham Craft Beer Festival and was like, so I really enjoyed the top beer episodes, but they were like, I was really pleased that you didn't rate Julius, because then it means that I don't have to worry about drinking it, because I thought it was like a bit, and I was like, it's good.
It's fine.
Joe thinks it's just fine, so I don't have to worry about like ever being able to get it. That's cool. Great.
It is.
He's like, and then you said that Queen Julius was amazing, and I'm never going to get Queen Julius, so you didn't help me. And I was like, sorry, dude.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to you. But Queen Julius was amazing.
I was like, Queen Julius is great. Sorry.
I still have one can of Queen Julius, and it is the best. I'm so sorry.
I was like, please, keep an eye out for it if you can ever get it.
I think they brew it like once a year. If I go back and I can still get it, I will definitely buy cans of it, because it was literally, I'm like, Julius, like, it's fine. It's not bad. It's just
it's not bad.
It's fine. Queen Julius though, absolutely. Yeah. Like Cobbler, also fine. I rate Cobbler higher than I rate Julius.
Yeah,
but Queen Julius was like exactly.
Well-made beer.
I feel like Queen Julius is what I expected to get from Julius, and just didn't. And the Queen pulled it off. I was like, yes, Queen, you did it.
Yeah. Anyway. So there you go. That's our top rated.
Oh, I like that.
Quarter. That's good. All right. So that's us. We're halfway through the year, peeps.
Oof.
So Tori, if people want to let you know what their favourite beers so far this year have been, and how many hops they think they've tried.
Yeah, if you want to talk about nerdy and data, if you won't be judgmental like some people, you can come find me and talk about nerdy data stuff, because data is beautiful. Yeah, you can come find me. You can check out the stickers that I'm making. It'll be great. You can find me on Instagram at adventures_in_optimism. At least that's what this sticker would tell you if you scan the QR code next to the little cartoon of me. You can find me on Instagram. You can email me at adventures_in_optimism@gmail.com. Oh no, sorry, that's just adventuresandoptimism@gmail.com. There's no underscores in my email.
No underscores.
Yeah, those are the only 2 places you can find me. Joe, if somebody is going to scan this QR code next to your cartoon image, where are they going to find you?
You can find me on Instagram. I am Love Beer Learning. You can probably also find me on Facebook. I'm on X, but I never look at it because Elon broke it. I am on TikTok, but they started restricting my content because they're also weird, so I've stopped doing stuff there. I'm on Pinterest. You probably don't care about trendsetters. Just come find me on Instagram as Love Beer Learning. You can come to my website where there is a blog that I have been updating, but it's taking me some time, so I haven't done it for a little bit. But there's some stuff on there. Come and read my top post, which is 6 easy steps to safely opening a wax seal beer bottle. Like that is
the people are loving it.
People love it. They have always loved that one. It constantly gets like 3 digits every month views. So come see that one. Is at my website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk, or you can email me lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. Tell me what your favourite beer for the year so far has been, and if you found any good dive bars where I can confirm that they are dive bars for you.
You're not the one to confirm they are dive bars.
Sorry.
Email
Tori,
both of us. You can message. Both of us. But before we plug the podcast one, what I will say is what's funny is I was playing a video game last night, a Slice of Life, because I don't have enough of my job in the real world and then doing a podcast on the side and making stickers and doing everything else. When I play games, I play just like you do cozy activities. I play cozy games. This time, I want to work in a pizza shop, so I'm playing good pizza, great pizza, and you just make pizzas all day. And one day a celebrity came in, and they were like, I didn't know they were a celebrity, and they were like, can you make me this pizza? I've got all this money, I need a green pizza. And I'm like, of course you do, whatever. And then it was like, you were visited by Elon Musk. And it made me, I was like, I would have peed on his pizza if I knew. But it made me laugh because of the fact that you said that.
Cyber hops on it?
I didn't know it was Elon Musk because it didn't look anything like him. And then it was just like a photo of a guy that I was like, I guess that vaguely is just like a white dude that with short hair. Like, okay. But it made me laugh when you said about it was Elon's broke it, and then I was like, he's too busy out buying pizzas at my pizza shop, but that's fine. But yeah, if you want to partake in the great debate, the great dive bar debate, which I will for the record go on and say, I never told you it didn't count. I said it counted. I personally wouldn't count it myself because it's not a dive bar.
My bases, okay?
Because people would have a bone of contention with that. But if you want to weigh in on the great debate, if you've been to Valhalla or you just know what a good dive bar looks like, you can email us both at a women's brew podcast@gmail.com, or the easier way is to just drop us a DM, slide into our DMs on Instagram. We are a women's brew. So yeah, that's all of us. Let's go finish the rest of our beers now.
Let's do it.
Cheers.